Hey everybody. So a question that I've seen come up again and again is, am I able to create a Domo data set that shows me the refresh rate of my data flows or the triggers and data sets that cause data flows to update? So basically, we have this DomoStats data set called DataFlows, and it's pretty good, but the issue is that it doesn't show you what this data flow, like whether it's a scheduled data flow or whether it's updated by data sets. And so today what I'm going to show you is we are going to use the JSON no-code connector to create a DomoStats data set that basically shows us whether a data flow is caused by a data set trigger or if it's caused by a scheduled update. And so if it's caused by a data set trigger, we can show the data set ID that causes the trigger. And if it's caused by a scheduled update, we can actually show what the cron expression is. So if I come here to scheduled and scroll over, there is these cron expressions. And so if you don't have much experience with cron, um, no worries. I'm going to talk about that today as well. But basically, this shows us when a data set is updating. And so, for example, if I come over here to a data flow I just created, it's going to fire off every day, every month, every year at 4 o'clock, every day of the week, um, at 4:12. And so just to show you what that looks like on this other end, right? If I come over here to look at the trigger, like I said, it's at 4:12 p.m. every day. And so that just kind of shows how this data set works, that it works properly. And the way I got to that is that if I come over here to this right here, so this right here is a JSON definition of a data flow. And basically, we're sending off a GET request to this endpoint, and we're putting in 470. That's our data flow ID. It puts back and returns back, a big old definition. In this case, the most important part is down here there's a trigger section. Yeah. So in this case right here, triggers, it'll show what your trigger title is, and then it'll show the cron expression, right? So in this case, this is the cron expression for this schedule trigger. If there was a dataset update instead, it would show the dataset ID that is causing the update. So we're going to be using this endpoint in conjunction with the JSON no-code connector. And so if I come over here to this connector, I come to data selection. What we're going to do is we're going to do a dynamic URL. And so you would just paste in this endpoint that we have, and I'll link this in the video, but you would paste in this endpoint, leave the end of it blank, and then say you want to add the dynamic value from a data set. And so in this case, you'll just have to hook up your DomoStats data flows. If I come over here, the report is data flows. And so if I hook that up, there's a column in here called ID. And so each row equals one data flow. So if I change this to the most recent, right, the one I just built, 470, is there. So that's going to be the dynamic looping. And then from there, this is kind of the fun part, the parsing. Like I said, it creates a really big JSON document. And so if I wanted to, I'm just going to show you real quick how I navigated this, but let's go to, basically I can choose the value. And then from here, I can decide what to do with the JSON. And so my recommendation is always like, you don't need all this data in the data set. And so if I scroll over here, I really just want the trigger expression is the most important part. So if I come here to trigger settings, I'm going to say I want to unnest this column as root, which basically says, hey, delete the rest of the stuff. I just want this column. And then from here, I'm going to expand it as array of rows. And this is how we actually then can get out, we're able to take out our cron expression. Oh, and see, look, I just messed it up because I nested it. So sorry, let's go back a step. I want this to be, let's see, let's go back up one more step. This guy, expand it as columns, and then expand this as columns again. And yeah, that should give us, let's see, one more time. Yeah, in this case, now we can get the cron expression flattened out. So like I said, you just need to tinker around with this basically. Like always come back up if you want to, you can restart it and play around with the different settings. Or you could use the new JSON expander tile in Magic ETL if that's your preference. But like I said, the end result is that you're going to have a data set that gives you the trigger settings for all your different data flows, whether they be data set update or whether they be schedule. So hope you found this helpful. Thanks.